In the early 20th century, China was falling apart. Old traditions were clashing with new ideas. Among the chaos, a small boy named Isen Gioro Puyi became the ruler of the biggest empire in the world. He was only 2 years old when he was placed on the dragon throne of the Forbidden City, becoming the last emperor of the Qing dynasty. But Puyi was not in control. Powerful eunuchs, scheming courtiers, and Dowager Empress Cixi's allies made all the real decisions. He was a child playing dress up in a world filled with ancient rules and deadly ambitions. Even the toys he played with were carefully chosen to shape his mind. Inside the Forbidden City, life looked beautiful from the outside: golden roofs, red walls, and silk robes. But beneath the surface, it was full of secrets, jealousy, and betrayal. Servants listened at doors. Eunuchs passed secret messages. Rumors spread faster than fire. Everyone wanted influence over the young emperor. As Puyi grew older, he realized the truth. He was a puppet. After the revolution of 1911, the Qing dynasty collapsed, but Puyi was allowed to remain in the Forbidden City for a few more years. His title remained, but his power was gone. Still, he acted like an emperor, giving orders, studying ancient texts, and performing rituals, while the world outside moved into the modern age. One of the most dangerous people around him was his English tutor, Reginald Johnston. At first, Johnston seemed helpful. He introduced Puyi to science, literature, and modern ideas. But Johnston had his own goals. He wanted Puyi to turn away from Chinese traditions and become a Western-style monarch. Some courtiers hated Johnston and called him a foreign spy. Meanwhile, inside the court, strange alliances formed. Puyi's brother plotted with pro-Japanese factions. Some eunuchs stole treasures and sold them to outsiders. Others controlled what food the emperor ate, even what clothes he wore. Puyi began to feel like a prisoner in his own palace. In 1924, everything changed. A warlord forced Puyi out of the Forbidden City. For the first time in his life, he walked among ordinary people, but he still believed he was special. Japan noticed this. Japanese agents began visiting him, offering a throne if he agreed to help them. In 1932, Japan created a fake country called Manchukuo in northeastern China. They made Puyi its ruler. He wore a crown again, but he was not free. His palace in Changchun was filled with microphones, spies, and Japanese advisors. Every letter he wrote was read. Every visitor was watched. Puyi could not trust anyone. Some of his ministers were Chinese collaborators. Others secretly hated Japan and tried to send messages to resistance groups. His own guards reported his every move. One day, a court official poisoned another's tea. Another time, a servant disappeared and was never found. Whispers of rebellion and plots filled the halls. Puyi tried to play the game. He smiled in public, gave speeches, and met Japanese generals. But in private, he kept diaries full of anger and fear. His wives were also caught in the struggle. Empress Wanrong became addicted to opium, and her health quickly declined. She was watched day and night, unable to escape. By the end of World War II, the Japanese Empire fell apart. Soviet troops captured Puyi while he was trying to escape by plane. The emperor, who once lived in a palace of gold, was now in a Soviet prison, wearing old clothes and holding a suitcase filled with useless documents. But even in prison, the intrigues continued. Other prisoners tried to befriend him, some to gain power, others to report to the guards. Puyi didn't know who to trust. One night, a man in the next cell shouted that he had been a loyal minister. The next day, he was gone. When China became communist, Puyi was returned to the country, not as an emperor, but as a criminal. He spent years in a re-education camp, writing confessions and studying Marxism. Some guards treated him like dirt. Others still called him Your Majesty behind closed doors. One officer offered him tea every day in secret, saying his grandmother had served in the Qing court. Through it all, Puyi's life remained a puzzle of loyalty and lies. He signed papers he didn't understand. He smiled for photos he didn't want to take. He survived plots against him by staying quiet, by pretending, and by learning to disappear in plain sight.